Alrighty, we are live with the Survivor Washington after show for episode 5. I'm Jaden Osborne, assistant editor and producer for the show, and with me as always is Heather Cannon, our resident super fan, and Marissa Allen, our secondary resident super fan, I think. I don't have separate titles. So we're just gonna be talking.
We'll work on it. Next week I want a regal title.
I'll have a list of names.
Regal. Well, I can just go by my title of the Queen of Gay, and then you can just be a super fan.
Yeah.
Okay, Queen of Gay.
Sweden's accent just makes me feel like it should be regal. That's just the vibe I get.
Well, I'm not British.
Tomato, potato. It's close enough.
We're Americans. We don't know the difference.
No, we know the difference. We don't care. That's why we're Americans.
All right. So we're just going to be talking. We're going to just be talking through the episode. If you guys have any questions, make sure to comment, either tweet us or maybe just in the YouTube chat's probably easiest. And we'll answer them probably at the end of the show. But for now, do you guys want to get into the episode?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get to it.
Sweet. I'm going to say, yeah, before we start, I was going to say that this is probably definitely my favorite episode so far.
Mm-hmm.
I really, really like this. But we start at 3:12 a.m. at the Wilkerson camp when Hunter comes with air horn in hand to wake people up for the tribe swap.
Which is so bizarre to me. All I can think of is, I don't know if you guys watch SNL, Saturday Night Live? Yeah. There is a sketch that's reoccurring where they're like a morning radio show in like Minnesota or something like that. And it's super early in the morning. I know they had Lindsay Lohan do it once too. But they basically run it like it's like a rap morning have on like the Minnesota mom, like in there reading like the news. And then like they just play the air horns over her and they're like, yeah. That's all I could think of when he was playing the air horn noise is that exact sketch. And if you haven't seen it, look it up. It's the exact same thing. I love it.
So it gave me like traumatic flashbacks to on Big Brother 17, it's time for a Big Brother takeover. Like I was like sweating here. I was like, no.
Oh, that would have been good.
I was like, oh no.
I loved Lindsay and Hunter's banter with it, where Lindsay's like, I'm wearing a bra, and Hunter's like, well, good thing it's dark. And
yeah. She shouted that out. I'm not. I think it was Katie who was like, that sounds
so
like a
classic Lindsay.
Yeah.
That was like the most Lindsay comment.
Stefan yells out, I thought you were a murderer.
Oh, yeah, I would have lost it.
That would create a twist in the series.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
On the wiki, it's like, voted out, murdered, voted out.
Next week on Survivor, a murderer comes into camp.
But then
Survivor takes a whole new level.
That would have been fine.
Camp, and it was like, where are the air horns? There was a lack of air horns when they got to the other side.
Well, my favorite thing is when they ended up going to the Carbonado camp. For some reason, I don't know why it stuck out to me, but Erica was just sleeping outside. Like, she just didn't get a tent.
I have that in my notes. I'm like, who is sleeping on the ground? Who would they not let into a tent? I have that right here in my notes as a question.
That was Erica. Yeah. Erica was my favorite because she hasn't gotten that much screen time. And she just, like, little random nuggets of screen time this episode.
Yeah. How did she end up outside? I need answers.
Wait, what was the question?
How did Erica end up having to sleep outside?
I don't know. I think the tribe forgot about her.
Just locked her out of the tent. And then
maybe she just liked
the one tent. Wes jumps so hard, like the tent actually gets air, like it just lifts right off the ground. And I'm like, oh god, I feel like he probably flailed and hit someone. Like it's an aggressive wake up reaction. Yeah, and I love Brett's like. So does this mean you want me to get out of the tent? Like,
yeah.
What do you want from me? It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Hunter, what are you doing?
Yeah, Brett was finally showing the like sass that I've been waiting for this episode, channeling his inner Courtney Yates. I knew it was going to come out eventually as we really started getting it this episode. I very much appreciated it.
I love it. And then you get the confessional from Wes where he's like, I was trying to fall asleep. I was deliberating whether or not I wanted to walk to the bathroom and pee one last time. I'm sorry. I thought your bathroom was super close. This should be a no-brainer, sir. But that was the perk.
Wait, we get a confessional from Kaya as well.
People. Yes. Woke up from a dream.
Kaya says in a confessional, what does this boy have planned for us? Which I thought was really funny.
Yes.
And then Hunter...
Kaya, even at 3 a.m., Kaya is just on it. She's on it.
Then Hunter takes him to the challenge area. And at first he takes away the immunity idol. And then I was like, are they going to do a challenge?
Yes, but you will see that immunity idol reappear at the next challenge. I'm like, how did they get it back? How did this work?
There are plot holes in this, Hunter.
Yeah.
Continuity.
And my question is, do you think the whole wake up in the middle of the night for this swap was the original plan? And know from getting production notes that it was running a little bit behind on the day. Mm-hmm. So my question is, just were they running behind, so it ended up needing to be done in the middle of the night, or do you think that was the original plan? Maybe Jid and you got some insight into that?
I don't. Early on in the season, that wasn't the plan. But when we switched from 3 tribes to 2 tribes, it was always going to be like let's wake up at midnight thing. So Hunter had always planned to torture them.
Nice. My other question about this: I know Lindsay had to be taught how to pee in the woods. But did Kitty also not teach her how to roll a sleeping bag? Because she shows up to this swap, and she's just got this big old armful of her sleeping bag, and she's got a water bottle hanging out of her mouth. Like, could someone please help her?
Oh, yeah.
Like, has she... Lindsay, have you been camping? I'm confused. I'm very confused on that.
And to be fair, it was in the middle of the night. So she may have known in a more clear state of mind, but maybe while everyone else was rolling up their sleeping bags, that's when she was putting her bra back on, and that's why.
And then you get Satu doing basically what I call his eulogy of Corey. And he's just like, Corey's one of our own. He looks like he's getting a little choked up, like in the throat and everything. He's like, it was hard to vote him out. I'm like, if I ever was to die,
like he's
that's what I want to do my eulogy.
Dog down.
Yeah, I'm like, if I die, please come to my funeral and do my eulogy, because no one I know will talk that nicely about me.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, Hunter...
Also, Connor shows up looking like Unabomber chic. I don't know if anyone else knows that as well. But he rolls up with his little hood up. He's standing in the back like shadows. It's very Unabomber chic.
Poor Connor. Well, Hunter gets them all to drop their buffs, and he comes out with the voting urn, I'm pretty sure. And they all do a lucky drip for new tribes. How are you guys thinking about how that swap turned out? Were you happy with like the new composition of tribes?
I found Sean's confessional to be kind of interesting, knowing how the episode really kind of turned out, where he talks about even in the short amount of time, he felt really good about the group that he was placed with, and we get the episode title with the devil you know versus kind of mixing that up. And no matter how the swap goes, he really would like to try to keep that core group and eliminate anyone new and ride those people as far as he can. So it kind of is a bit of a transition through the episode. Sean's thinking on who should go. I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because he pretty much ended up doing what said he was going to do. And Sean is one of the few people that I think this was not necessarily the best move for him. I guess it kind of depends on how like ride or die he is with Connor. But I just think and the old Carbonado tribe sticking together would be his best interest. Whereas for someone like Connor, obviously not, because he didn't really have a lot of allies in that group. But pretty much everyone likes Sean. Everyone trusts Sean, including Wes, who I believe said he considered him his closest.
That's a face you can trust right there.
All American.
Wow.
Whereas I think that Wes was going to keep telling him things and was going to keep, like, just treating him as if his number one idol or ally, and it seems like Sean was pretty able to like keep him on other people's bad sides. That was one of the things that I was kind of starting to hit me watching the episode, is how gullible this cast sort of is. It's like every time we've seen someone say like, "Oh, this person is targeting you," they're just like, "Oh my god, this person is targeting me." Like they never consider the idea. Even with Stefan coming up to Erica, it's someone who's obviously on the bottom, and he's like, "Oh yeah, by the way, like Wes said that he wants you to go." She's like, "He wants me to go?" It's like,
and it's funny because I feel like almost there was that conversation where it's like, "Oh yeah, you should talk to Erica. This will work out well for you," and then it kind of turns around and bites him in the butt. It's almost like he recommended Stefan go to Erica, and then that was part of the downfall. But did anyone else catch at the swap, like when they're maneuvering people to each team, and I think Lindsay hugs Emma, and then you hear someone just go, "Enjoy your fakeness."
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I have that in my notes because Lindsay goes to hug Emma, and she says this really big, like, "Hey girl, I've been really wanting to meet you this like whole time." And then it jump cut to, I think it was Stefan being like, "Enjoy your fakeness," which I thought was really funny.
But it was like, why? I mean, I don't know. Why would anyone say that? Like, that was the thing that I think caught me most off guard in this episode, is that line, because it sounded so loud too. But it was just like, why would you, like, first of all, why would you even be thinking that, unless it's like you just, it's just someone that you like hate, which we haven't seen in the game so far that Stefan hates Lindsay or anything like that. But it's like, even if you hate them to the point where it's just like every little thing that they do drives you crazy, it's like, you still wouldn't say that out loud. Like, you just think it yourself, and maybe these other people later on that they're fake. You don't like just.
Yeah, it kind of struck me as like a Big Brother 12 thing where like Brittany would go in and make fun of like Rachel Riley when all the HOH rooms were revealed, and she'd just kind of like freak out. I thought that was kind of what he was trying to do, like make a joke out of it.
But it's like, you do that when you do confessionals later on in the day about the tribe swap. You don't just like say it in the dark in front of everyone. So I don't know if it was him or if it was someone else. I felt like it sounded most like him, but that didn't make sense because he's in alliance with Lindsay. So maybe it was someone else. I have no idea. I have to ask Hunter about that.
We'll end up with like the first of what will be many troublesome confessionals from Wes, where he's like, "I feel like I wasn't completely tribe screwed." It's like, "Oh, sweet pea. Oh, sweet pea. Stop saying stuff like that. This is not a good look for you. Oh, no. Oh, no."
There is a lot of that in this episode.
Yes.
And troublesome also in the sense that he says, we've got 4 Carbonado and 2 Woodchesters, and then he corrects himself to Westchesters, neither of which are Wilkerson.
Yes, which I really can't give him shit for because I can't pronounce the Carbs tribe, so...
Carbonado?
Carbonado and Wilkerson. I don't know any tribe names. It's that kind of felt like it was on purpose. I'll try to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I felt like it was a little bit on purpose.
I thought it was a joke.
Side note, did anyone else notice that Erica is wearing a sweatshirt that says "Talk Dirty to Me"?
Yes.
In big, sparkly pink letters as well.
That's one hell of a wardrobe choice. I have so many questions.
Yeah.
The cougar strategy.
Wow.
Or the Puma, whatever you want to call it.
Put it out there.
Lures the young men in. Watch out, Connor.
And then Emma's like, "Socially, I'm going to have to do a really good job." And I'm like, "Oh, you're finally getting that. Okay. You're becoming self-aware. That's good. That's a good thing."
Oh, no.
So the next thing is my absolute favorite part of this episode, Connor's birthday. Not to be confused with Rodney's birthday. But you go to the Carb Tribe, and it's hour 14. And they're discussing if it's Connor's birthday. And Connor's like, "Oh, well, is it like Saturday the 22nd? Yeah, I guess it is my birthday. I completely forgot." I'm like, "You've been there 14 hours. How the hell did you forget? Like, you showed up, and your birthday was going to be the next day. You went to bed once. You woke up. It's sunlight. It's your birthday." Like,
I know. That got me too, because it's not like if you're on Survivor's Day, like 27. You're just like, I don't really know what day of the week it is. Like, I can, if you're not keeping track, maybe, but
it's not even day one fully. It's like
you started the game yesterday, and then it's today
now.
now.
Less than 24 hours. How do you not know if it's your birthday or not?
It's the Sarah thing where she said that you guys have to go to tribal council or else you forget you're in the game, you forget it's your birthday.
Right. Oh, now sorry,
you just forget if you don't lose challenges.
Right. Yeah, you were right.
You forget your name. You forget where you're really from.
Nobody knows who Molly is at this point.
But all factors considered, I'd say still, at least so far, we'll see. Hopefully it ends a good birthday for him, but it definitely started as a great birthday.
Right.
Well, Connor gives a confessional as well where he says that strategies never really crossed his mind and he's just kind of starting to get into it now.
Yes. He's very self-aware. He's like, I haven't really done well with the physical challenges. Don't really see that changing.
Yeah.
Like, we're accepting our limitations. It's good. Good self-awareness.
Connor had a really good episode this time around. I really.
I'm telling you guys, I am so excited for this. What I've been saying for weeks is I'm like, you keep asking me, who do I see as my dark horse? Who do I see as my winner? And I'm like, I need it to be Connor. And it's happening. So excited.
Yeah, he definitely shot up between the episode that he had today and Lindsay calling herself the mastermind. And I was like, Lindsay, no.
Please. But I like this we do a little balance. If we do a Connor confessional, Kaya confessional, Connor confessional, where Kaya's like saying, like, I trust Connor because he's like at the bottom of like his like old tribe alliance. And I'm like, ooh, I don't know how you know that, but good. And I like that strategy. And then she's like, well, Sean told Connor that he was next to go. I'm like, ooh, Sean. That's rough. But I like that she wanted to pair up with Connor. Connor is like, right? And he's like, Kaya told me that she's got like the other tribe's idol. Like, that's a big share at night one. She was very desperate when she woke up. I'm like, good thing Connor was there to take care of her. I'm here for that. But he told Kaya that he would go with her to the end, which I'm demanding be in their wedding vows. So, and then you get the infamous, or I'm about to make it infamous, the anything we can do to shake things up, cause some chaos, I'm down for. And thus we see the birth of Chaos Connor.
Chaos Connor and Chaos Kaya.
Oh my God.
Now we just need to come up with a showman's name for them that we can meld together.
Oh my God, I need it so bad. I'm here for it. It's my favorite.
Okay, well, I don't know how to showman's their name though.
I just want them to like have a baby that we can raise specifically to play Survivor, like they do like in the Chinese Olympics. And that's not because Connor's like part Asian, but because I feel like it'd be a great thing.
They do kind of balance each other out well.
Yeah. Oh, I love it.
We cut after that to a confessional of Wes, and he's talking. I think the main thing he says is Erica's playing pretty under the radar, and also that he trusts Sean, and that Sean's his closest ally. Followed by a clip of
Before he gets to that, it's Sean, Stefan, and Wes standing around. I think like the water cooler.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but is it July?
Yes.
How many layers of clothing does Stefan have on? He's got like Hatman and scarf going, like it's the middle of January in the Midwest. Anyone else that really find that bothersome? There's like 18 layers of clothing on that boy. Everyone else is normally dressed. Stefan is bundled up like a damn snowman.
I was figuring it was early in the morning.
I mean, it's July.
I don't know how the hours worked out, but I don't know. I also don't know the weather in Washington. I know it's pretty much always cold around here, except when it's randomly like 90 degrees, and that's like 50 degrees. So kind of hard to get used to any set temperature.
Right. Stefan starts talking about like they approach him like, "Are you gonna get rid of Kaya?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, of course. At this point, I'm just a desperate bottom feeder, so I'll agree to anything," which I'd like a gif of. As well as, big surprise, I'm playing the victim, and sulking would also like a gif of. Those are my requests, internet.
Well, then I think after that, we get the West confessional where he says, Eric is under the radar. Sean is his closest ally, but that's immediately jump cutted to a clip where Wes is talking to Sean and basically says, "I have hesitations about you." So I thought that was funny about that's kind of how he's talking to is the person he trusts the most. Like you imagine talking to other people.
Yeah, it's not looking good for him.
Yeah, and it's funny too because if you look at Sean's like body language, I mean, part of it is every second someone was calling him away, but Sean's body language was very much like, "I want to leave this conversation."
Yes.
It was like didn't seem like Wes was really picking up on that. Study body language if you ever don't want to do well on a social experiment.
Yeah,
comes in handy.
What's going on with Wes's buff? Because I feel like he's wearing it like he's got a bad tattoo and he's about to pick up a shift at his local Chili's. He's got it like wrapped on his arm, and you don't.
It's like on his elbow.
Yeah, like he's got this bad tattoo that Chili's is like, you got to cover that up.
Maybe he does.
There's a copyrighted tattoo on there.
Yeah, he's got the Pepsi logo. I think that's everything in that Carbonado scene. Did you guys remember in that? Before we jump to Wilkerson?
I mean, Wes goes idol hunting again.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, of course. He finds the idol.
Yes.
Were you guys happy with that? Yeah.
Yes. I mean, I don't know where his game would have gone from here once he finds the idol. What's left of his storyline?
Yeah, were you guys happy to see him find the idol?
Yes, until he gave the whole, like, I think I'm, like, safe, I don't need to play this idol. Like, sometimes you play it and you screw yourself by your team no longer, like, trust you. I'm like, oh, this is sweetie, this is not a good look for you. This is not good.
It's also not really something that we see, at least on recent Survivor. Like, when Kelly Wentworth surprised everyone with her idol, her allies weren't like, that's sketchy, we don't trust you. Like, it's something that Survivor players have talked about recently, and how it's like, after you play an idol, everyone's so kind of like impressed that they all kind of like gravitate towards you a little bit. So it's kind of the opposite thing if you actually watch what has happened with recent examples. But yeah, and I mean, I was glad that we got a temporary escape from people searching for the idol, because it just felt like searching and searching and searching, and everyone's obsessed with the idol, and then it's finally, okay, we know where it is, we know what's happening, and then now it's back hidden again.
Yeah. Before I forget, you know
what if Kaya scoops it up and pulls a Jeremy?
Right. When they went back and forth with the Kaya and Connor confessionals, when that was over, it cuts to a shot of a pair of raccoons like going off in the woods together. And I'm like,
I've got another note about that B-roll later on in the episode. But then they go to like a scene at Wilkerson, and it's mostly about like Brett and Emma. But the entire scene is about Wes, even though Wes isn't on that side at all. It's just them dragging Wes for being shady.
Right.
Which I thought was funny.
There's two important confession at the beginning where he says he thinks he has the equal athleticism to Emma, and I'm like, oh, you too are a D1 athlete. Perfect. So we found a way to work it into the episode, but he's thinking about aligning with Emma and Lindsay, which, as we work through this section, is going to come back around. But yeah, Emma's doing Emma things. Just thank God their toilet is close to that camp, because that girl's got verbal diarrhea. She just lets loose with everyone's info.
Yeah, I really just don't know where her head is at in this game, because it feels like every hour of the game she's saying something that's like, why are you doing this? Like, I don't know why she was just, I don't know what she thought she was accomplishing for herself, or if it was just that she needed to vent, like just telling them everything about like Wes and who was going to go home and all this stuff with the idol. And it's not, but it was worth it just to get Brett's line when he was talking about how she's just blowing up everyone's stuff, and he doesn't want that because he knows that's going to be bad for him down the line, which I think was important, because later on we see Lindsay and Kitty thinking about maybe keeping her as sort of like a obvious target, but I think Brett's the one, as usual, who kind of sees through things, and he's like, if she's blowing up other people's stuff, it's only a matter of time until she's blowing up my stuff. But I thought the line about her being a seeker of truth was really funny. Maybe just because that was like a mission statement or whatever when I was in college. But this is what people called her like the seeker of truth. I died.
It's in my sorority creed for sure. That was my first thought. I'm like, ooh, Delta Zeta sorority creed. But it goes then back to a confessional with Lindsay and Kitty when they're discussing, well, if we lose, do we want to target Emma? And then Lindsay says, well, Stu and Emma they have issues with each other. So if we take them to a merge, then they'll target each other. And in contrast with what we just heard from Satu, where he's like, I think I want to pair up with Lindsay and Emma. This was my first time I was kind of concerned for Lindsay's read on the game. She's counting on them to fight at the merge, and he's thinking about pairing up with her. That's potential major backfire.
Yeah, that was a little off. But I suppose I can't imagine.
Satu is our Joe.
Yeah.
I love that.
Which I thought.
Because whatever we tell him to do, he'll do.
Yeah, I was thinking Joe Anglin for the first minute or so. And I was like, but no. Okay.
I was like, kind of true. A little true. But not the normal perception of Joe. Yeah, see, the thing about Emma is that I kind of feel like she's a physically stronger but less savvy version of Sierra Easton, right. And it's very few people for whom it benefits their game to have her there. That's why she went home first.
Sierra Easton couldn't play Sierra Easton's game all the time. But Emma says something along the lines of Wes doesn't want any of the girls to win, and he's been running around telling everybody, different people, they're going to be voting out. I'm like, when? When did that happen? When did he throw a name out there besides Connor? Did I miss this? Because I feel like he's just been going around saying we got to get rid of Connor. So I feel like I missed something.
That whole thing, I didn't even catch that until the second time around when she said he didn't want a girl to win. I was like, oh, are we going to go into that territory now? We're trying to make it into him being like some kind of sexist who's just trying to keep the women down. Like, that's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
It's just everything about her game is really bad. Sorry, Emma, if you're watching.
That verbal diarrhea.
Well, do you guys want to talk about that? Because, I don't think Wes said that. And I think that most of the things that have gone on about everyone not believing what Wes says has been mainly due to people like Sean who want to just throw him under the bus.
Or, here's my question. Is it because he was concerned about, wasn't he the one who was concerned about the all-girl alliance after Nico was voted out? But I feel like because Wes has said and done certain things, it gets to the point, especially when everyone else is playing such kind of a more straight game, that you become the person where you can basically say whatever about them and their gameplay, and it sounds plausible.
Yeah, that's really his mistake in the game, is just that the thing is he assumes before the game even started that people were just going to automatically perceive him as being sneaky, but he kind of played into it, and I think trying to make people feel more at ease is, I think, the one thing that I think he could have done, because once, just with the way the tribal dynamics were, and the fact that you have someone like Sean who's so willing to capitalize on that, it's just he made himself look sketchy, and he knew it was making himself look sketchy. Since people like Erica and Emma were maybe not the most game savvy super fan types, once there's that perception of oh, this person's sketchy, they're playing too hard, then it's once people start saying, oh, they're throwing your name out there, they're just not even questioning it. Anything you tell them that this person is doing that reinforces their view of them, they just automatically buy. It's good for Sean, at least for now, but it might hurt him down the line. But
that's what. Do you think it was a good move for Sean? Because Wes has given nothing but pretty much good. I trust Sean, I trust Sean, I trust Sean. So I think Sean did cut at least a temporary ally. Do you think that was for the betterment of his game?
I think it's hard to say. It depends on how close and how committed he is to Connor. If that's this tight duo, then it might have been in his best interest, because if it's in his best interest for Connor to stick around, and if that's a player who's that important to his game. But if he's playing with Connor but not dead set on having Connor around, then I don't think that was the best move because Wes wasn't coming. He was doing a good job of getting other people's negative energy focused on Wes and completely off of him.
Yeah, he was kind of like a meat shield, if you will. And Connor is now taking this time to bond to Kaya. So Sean technically could have moved himself to that bottom of that totem pole with that. So we'll see how that kind of sorts out. So then we get to the challenge. And we start off with a little shit talking from Sarah, which caught me off guard completely. And then I think it was a misstep when Wes was asked if he's basically about looking back at the other tribe. And but yeah, I think I see probably some friendly faces over there, which probably not the best response. As people start thinking about going into a merge, that now you've got kind of alliances on both sides. That makes you a bit of a threat at that merge. But then Kaya makes a comment about how this camp is so much nicer because it's closer to the toilet. What is with these people? When has this ever been a good thing? When? When has this ever been a good thing? How far away is the old camp toilet? How far away?
Maybe Wilkinson is like a 10-minute walk and it's just the worst. Like, it has to be something like that. It has to be so noticeably bad at Wilkinson.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I think this was probably the best challenge they've had so far in just terms of like build quality. Like, he did a really nice job of replicating the actual show, but this challenge took forever. It took a really long time. It turned out to be, I think someone asked if we have endurance challenges this season. This was one of them.
Basically.
Yeah.
How long did it take in real time?
I think he had little, I didn't ask Hunter, but he had little chyrons that come up and said, I think it went up to 30-something minutes, which is, I would have just been frustrated.
Yeah.
I think Hunter as well got probably the most bored out of anyone because he just kind of started shit-talking people. Like, he was saying to Emma, I know how I can annoy you right now. And Emma's like, I can tune him out, Yeah. And then even when Kitty was going at the very end.
One glass of milk.
Yeah.
Milk? What the hell is milk?
Milk.
Is that what happens when you warm up milk? It turns into milk?
Milk. It's like The Simpsons, milk.
I think the longest part of this challenge was the instructions. If you watch everyone's like kind of reaction, trying to keep up with how many different parts he's explaining, like there's a lot of like this and okay, what?
Stefan's face was my favorite of all of them. He's like, what are you saying?
But anyway. Overall, good multi-part challenge. What you see there?
My favorite part was Hunter enjoying his fakeness. When Kitty was getting really close, he was just shouting out like, "Kitty, oh my god," like repeatedly, just to annoy her.
Yeah,
I'd start chucking golf balls at his face. I have 0 patience.
And also Emma.
Marissa for season 3.
Yeah.
Also, Emma was on the winning tribe, and she ended up, as her like celebration, she kind of went to the camera and did this, which was my favorite part.
MTV Cribs?
Yeah, I know. So we need to.
That was one of the few likable moments from Emma for me.
Oh, I like Emma. No, I want a gif of that as well, along with the Stefan, I'm a bottom feeder, like Tobias.
I want Connor talking about Wes not being able to handle his balls, and that's why he's going home.
Yeah. Could have maneuvered his balls with better control.
You can see,
so it's like Connor definitely knows what he's saying here right now. He's a fan. He knows the ball talk on Survivor.
Connor had like a bunch of confessionals that were obviously done in the one sitting, and you can just see that he's like perking up. It's like he's just like so like not smug, but just like really happy in his confessionals. You can tell he's like just got ants in his pants, waiting for the moment he can write down Wes's name. So I don't know. It was really fun seeing just like how excited he is. And then the very last thing at this immunity challenge is Lindsay explaining that because of the way the challenge was set up, her and Stefan were at the back of the challenge and pretty much could freely communicate. And one of the things Lindsay said to Stefan was like, "Oh, can you please save Kaya?" jump cut to Tribal Council where Stefan is the only person to vote for Kaya, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah. It's like, of course, he had to do that because then if Wes plays the idol, he automatically goes home. But it was still really funny.
Yeah, I understand it, but I just thought it was funny that the one person you asked to do it just kind of fucks you over like that.
So when they go back to the carb camp, they start discussing like voting plans, and the first one they discuss is, well, we'll split it 3-3, and that way if there's an idol, it will flush it. I'm like, okay, so what if there's not an idol and now it's tied? Like, there was no discussion about, okay, well, if it's tied, then this person has changed their vote, because you could get a scenario where enough people change their votes in the right order that now you're still tied 3-3, just different people voting for those 3 and 3, and now you're at rocks. Like, you need to plan for that step.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt and assuming that they did that off camera.
Yeah.
I hope they would have.
Hopefully. Yeah.
I think because they were telling Kaya, whether it was true or not, that Stefan was going to be the one to go on the revote. They assumed they were telling Stefan.
That's what I thought was going to happen, because we did see Connor saying too that he wanted Kaya to stay. He didn't want her to go. So I assumed from that and from what they were telling Kaya that the plan was Stefan.
Yeah. I've written down that we have another.
They just had him vote Kaya so that they wouldn't like panic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Then you get the Wes, I don't think I'm getting voted out confessional. And
I feel like there's got to be like 4 or 5 of Wes. Yeah. I'm safe tonight confessional. None of which are true. Okay, my favorite part of the episode came up next, because you were talking about like the raccoons and stuff in the B-roll. There's a shot of B-roll that's like antler or like moose antlers, and it's like taken from the perspective of like behind the antlers, and I don't know what that was. If he like,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
He went out there and he got on the moose and rode it.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. I don't know if he had like tight antlers that he just kind of like put up in front of the camera and did like some perspective, or if he mounted a moose. But
Connor talks about how either basically that Wes thinks that the plan is to vote out Stefan or Kaya, but really the plan is to blindside him, or he's gonna have the idol and blindside them. But either way, it's gonna be a blindside. Then Sean kind of debates throwing that random vote in there to make sure that it's Kaya over Stefan, which I thought was kind of interesting. Connor got way too like aroused by the idea of putting the final nail in Wes's coffin. He had his like whole smirk going.
Yeah,
I mean, that guy had been scheming against him for like 15 hours, whatever it was.
I love the kind of sinister, evil, super hero / villain Connor emerging. Like, I feel like I'm watching an origin story, and I'm enjoying this arc.
It was great because Connor is like the sweetest, like kindest person. So getting to see like a little bit more, like seeing him kind of like, even if it's like a very justified thing, it's not just kind of like watching someone lose and rub in their face because you don't like them. It was more just kind of like, this person's been coming after me, but I'm gonna get them first, this kind of thing. But it was so nice to see more of that like feisty side of him.
Wes is getting voted.
Then they go and Connor goes and searches Wes's stuff, which obviously you check the idol pocket first if it's got a special idol pocket on it.
Yeah,
it's the first place I'd look. Good hiding, Wes.
You think it's a pretty small idol though? Like, you would have thought he'd maybe, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't have suspected that people would go through your stuff, but you think he would have maybe just kind of like kept it in his shoe or something. That might have been easier, because that kind of bit him in the ass. What else do I have? That's all I have on the notes for.
Starting at about now. Starting about right now with the discovery of Wes's idol. Go back and watch all of Kaya's facial reactions, because they are just priceless to everything. Like, they're just all perfect. From here to the end of the episode, I live for it. It's so good. Her reaction finding the idol and at Tribal, it's...
do we have more notes for this last Carbonado scene?
Yeah, well, I wanted to go back a little bit because we've been talking about these moments when people kind of say the opposite of what they're gonna do and stuff like that. And this one wasn't saying so they weren't gonna do, but it was funny because Stefan was talking about why Wes needed to go home. And one of the reasons, which is odd in itself, was that he's a bad liar. And you would think that you would want to have bad liars in the game because then you know if they're lying to you.
Yeah, you want to keep the good ones?
Yeah, but it was kind of funny because then at tribal council, it obviously wasn't that bad because it didn't raise any alarms for Wes, but Stefan was laying on a little thick. It's the way it turned into a conversation. It wasn't that bad, but it was just kind of...
Yeah.
Hunter had asked him a question that was sort of unrelated. He was like, oh, well, I'm voting for Kaya and Kaya's voting for me, and those are only options. There's nothing we could do, and that's it. It was like, oh no.
It wasn't even necessarily, I agree with you. Not like that acting was bad or anything, but the stuff he was saying was basically urging them to vote him out. He was saying, I've written down quotes. I get it. It's logical. I would do the same thing. I don't really blame them. It is what it is. And it's just not logical to change things up when you have the numbers, which who on the bottom has ever really done that? You think if he was actually fighting for his life, he would have been calling out people. He would have been throwing people under the bus. He would have been blowing up their gangs.
That's my problem with it. Yeah, it was some of the worst acting I've ever witnessed in my entire life, and I've seen community theater.
Do you remember Ozzy's?
I was gonna say first age,
basically, because this is still 10 notches above that.
Yeah, it was worse than Ozzy on Redemption Island.
No,
or whatever he was on.
That's a bold claim.
This boy has wept on the way back from challenges, and now he's just gonna toss in the towel and be like, "I get it. I totally understand. I'd do it too." That wasn't a giant red flag that neither of them, not even just okay, well, one of them's kind of accepting it, the other one's kind of fighting for it and pointing things at the other, but both of them have kind of accepted their fate. In what world would they not fight for that? That plus it's such
yeah, it reminds me a little bit of something they teach you in acting classes, whereas if you're trying to act drunk, then you act a certain way, playing up all the things that you think a drunk person does. But if you're actually properly acting drunk, it's a drunk person's normally trying to hide it. I feel it was more just kind of
a drunk person. It was like a drunk baby.
It was doing the wrong idea of what a person on the bottom, it's taking the wrong approach to it, kind of more thinking what would make him feel safe rather than what would be the most realistic choice of actions for someone in our circumstance. Because they may think it's thinking about how it looks versus how it actually does. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Wes didn't pick up on it, so obviously it's not the worst acting
job. Good read on that. Yeah. I mean,
the others played it off much better too, though. That definitely helps the way that the other majority people talk through it.
Yeah, I still stand by it being the worst acting job in the world. But I will say
I've seen so much theater. That was not the worst.
Wes may have had the worst self-awareness, group awareness at that point. I would like to give that more credit than the acting.
Yeah, I mean, I think the difference between Ozzy and what we saw here is that what Ozzy was trying to sell was really a hard sell. His whole story with the Cochrane and the whole thing. So you really have to nail the acting job to, especially, I mean, he didn't know the other tribe, but to get Sophie to buy what you're selling, never mind just coach Sophie. That's rough. But here it's they were pretty much telling Wes what he wanted to hear, so that's not going to be, it was just a much easier sell. So I think you don't have to get away with this Sandra, Michaela, blindsiding JT level caliber of acting. You can get away with much less.
In Stefan's defense, though, I think if he was actually on the bottom, he probably would have been, and he wanted to replicate that, he probably would have been throwing Wes under the bus, or and that wouldn't have been maybe the best way to go, because I feel that in itself can trigger an idle play if he thinks he's maybe getting through to people.
Yeah, there wasn't an obvious alternative plan.
Yeah, I don't think there was a perfect way to handle it.
But again, Kaya with the balls of steel not playing her idol.
Yeah, I was impressed.
Yeah.
Which I think to me would have been my cue as like Wes. Like if he had any inkling she had the idol, like that would be my inkling that like you need to play it. If she feels that safe, then that might be a good time. To me, this was just kind of Wes's JT moment where he thought they were gonna vote out Michaela and it was really him. Like, did he bring the idol to Tribal?
I feel like he would have said in his.
He's pretty focused on that Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say, I skipped over this note, but right when we got into Tribal Council, speaking of like Kaya reaction shots and all that, one of the first things Wes says is, because he hasn't been to Tribal Council since episode 1, he says, like, I forgot what this place was like, and Kaya's right next to him, giving him the biggest eye roll ever, because this is her fourth Tribal Council. That was really funny. That's all I have for Tribal Council until the votes get read. Do you guys have anything else?
No, I want to get to Kaya's reactions.
Yeah, that was my favorite part. Just throw it to
Oh my god.
Like that.
Just like a gift waiting to happen.
Yeah, which I've never seen anyone do that.
But it's like she's natural. It's not like Michaela being like, this would make a good. I reject your use of the word GIF. I reject that. But it's not like GIF. Michaela, it's GIF.
Yeah, I'm with Heather.
Technically, I believe the creator said GIF, but I just reject that in every sense. But it's not like Michaela just being like, this would make
you don't even speak
right?
English,
It's like
so you don't get an opinion.
Kaya just hey.
Yeah, well, I noticed as well.
His opinion's very important to me.
I noticed as well. Hunter did another one of those, like close your eyes and put your hand up.
Yeah.
The question was something about, is there an idol in play? And Kaya's just, I think, done with Hunter's games. She didn't put her hand up for either. She just ignored it, which I think.
And Hunter's mad. He's like, some of you are either fooling yourself or fooling me. I'm like,
yeah.
I
think that's the way. I think that's the way you should play it, though. I don't think you should give in to Hunter's games.
Yeah, he's very leading some of this stuff. Like after they do this anonymous vote, he then comments on how they voted. I'm like, ooh, that's not good. Like, it's a little revealing.
He's passionate. So anyway, Wes goes out in a 4-1 vote. What did you guys think of Stefan voting for Kaya in the end?
I mean,
he
did what he had to do, because if Wes played that idol, he would have been a goner. I mean, little does he know, he still would have been a goner anyways, because I'm sure if Wes plays his idol, Kaya plays hers.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, does she have balls to steal to that degree? Like, when there's an idol play, you know, the vast majority of the votes are going on that person. Like, you really gonna take that risk?
Well,
I wouldn't.
Well, what about the choice of actually throwing the vote on Kaya? Because he has like a relationship with her from Wilkerson. Do you think he maybe should have thrown a vote on like Erica or something?
I think that's kind of what he had to do. Just because I think it would have caused problems. I think people take it so personally in the game when they get like just a stray irrelevant vote, but even more so when there's like knowledge that an idol is in play and could be played, because then it's gonna, no matter what, it's gonna create like a Corey situation.
Yeah.
But at least then, like, I think Kaya realistically knows that if Wes played his idol, that it's in Stefan's best interest to vote for her, not because he wants her gone, but if the vote is tied between him and any other person in that tribe other than her, then it's a sure thing that he's going home. Whereas at least he has a chance if it's tied between him and her. So I think that was his best move. And I think she should understand it. We'll see. But it's not, I think that was his best move for sure. Because I feel like anyone else would have been like up in arms about it. Because that seems to be kind of the way it goes this season.
Yeah, I agree. But what about just like the West vote in general? Do you think that was a good move for most people in the tribe, or was that a mistake?
I don't think it was a good move for Erica at all. I'm leaning towards no, but I'd see a case for yes for Sean. See, the thing is that even if he may consider Connor to be his closest ally, I'm not sure if that's the case or not. But just from the way Connor talks about his position in the game, it doesn't sound at all like he feels like he's really tight with Sean and has anything with Sean. So it's like if you consider someone your ally, but they don't feel like you're an ally to them, then it's not that much power. So I don't think that it was necessarily the best move for Sean. I don't think it was the worst move either, though. I just don't think it was the best one. But he's still in a pretty good spot regardless.
Yeah.
I just need more of Connor and Kyle.
All right. So I think that does it for the end of the episode. If anyone else has anything to add, what were your just general thoughts of the episode this week?
I'm here for it. I'm happy with it. I think it'll be very interesting to see how long they go on these tribes and who goes to tribal next. But I think it did kind of reposition some of the dynamics from some of the people who've been kind of quiet up to this point, and I'm interested to see kind of how everyone settles into their position, especially since had kind of voted off a non-swap person. So I think that really kind of repositions everything.
What about you, Heather?
Yeah, it's just interesting to see what happens. I mean, I at this point, I think Stefana's probably going home if Carbonado goes to another tribal, unless things really change. But it's just, I don't really know who it would be if not Stefan. Because it doesn't seem like they're targeting Kaya. Connor definitely isn't. I would be curious as to who she idled out if they did vote for her, but...
She also had a thought.
Mm-hmm.
If Wes was to decide to play his idol at that vote, Kaya would then play her idol as well. Then Stefan goes out with one vote.
Yeah, that would have been good to see.
Yeah.
I feel missed opportunity. I feel like
you can grill Wes about that. We should actually advertise that.
Yes, that's up next.
Yeah, so the exit interview is coming out basically right after this. Is that right?
Yeah. Yes, I just changed my top because I'm sweating through it. But other than that, right after this.
Yeah, so look forward to that, guys. So if you have any questions for Wes, make sure to save them and comment them on the YouTube stream. Also, do you want to try to get into questions? I don't even know if we have any.
Yeah, and so we have one in the chat. Who's our picks to wins? Who's our pick to win? I know you know too much to say, right?
Yeah, I'll leave that one for you guys. Prediction questions more for you guys.
Connor, I'm here for it. I hope I'm happy with Kai as well, but I'm liking this metamorphosis of Connor. He to me is the people version of the Elmo meme where Elmo's standing in front of all the flames. That's what I see happening here. Love it.
What about you, Heather?
After this episode, I'd say it's definitely... Before it was Lindsay and Kaya. Now I'd say it's more Connor and Kaya, but Lindsay's definitely still in it. Sarah was my dark horse before. At this point, not because of anything she's done, but just because we haven't really seen much from her. And I'm guessing if they go to tribal, if they're sticking with this plan to keep Emma as some kind of shield, which I don't think is that good of an idea, then I would guess that Sarah's the one, because it seems like they're getting along with Brett well. So I don't think they said who they would send home. Lindsay did mention that she thought Lindsay mentioned that Brett was a threat down the line. But it kind of felt like by default she could be the target. It doesn't seem like she's really in go with the group. So I don't know. I like Sarah, but I don't know if she could anymore. So I think those two are still my top.
Well, speaking of Sarah,
yeah, she's allowed to shit talk before a challenge, but when Brett does it, suddenly everyone's got a problem.
Well, she didn't, because she was on the same tribe. It was, I think, mostly Stefan, but just the Wilkeson tribe in general.
Oh, so
But
when
it wasn't.
Stefan's on
It
the
wasn't
track,
any
that is
tribe
cool.
mate.
But how dare you say that about Stefan? Okay. I
Well,
get it.
Stefan wasn't. Stefan has never been on the same tribe as Sarah.
Oh, so now he's okay with it.
Well, we didn't see his take on Sarah saying it, but he wasn't on the same tribe as her, so I don't think it was a case of him being okay with it just because he's on the same tribe as her, because he isn't.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
I
Sarah,
gotta dip out of here to cut the next one.
alrighty, we'll
You guys
wrap this
wanna
up.
finish wrapping up?
I'm just
I will
checking.
see you guys next week.
Yeah, I don't think we have any more questions. So thank you everybody for joining. If you want to follow us, our Twitter handles are in there. Bye, Marissa. There should be an episode next week on Sunday, so everybody just stay tuned for the Wes interview coming up now. I think that's everything.
Yep. See you next week.
All right, bye guys.